In 2025, something big is brewing. We're talking about three massive, powerful forces that are on a direct collision course. Unbelievably advanced AI, a deeply conflicted immigration system, and a political blueprint that could literally rewrite the rules. Today, we're going to break down how this triple threat is creating a potential perfect storm for the economy, for national security, and for the future of your job.
Okay, let's just start with a number that should make you sit up and pay attention. 1,740%. That is the insane surge in deepfake-related fraud just in North America since 2022. This is the first force we're looking at, a technological threat that's not just growing, it's exploding.
All right, now for another number, $158 billion. That's the potential shot in the arm the H-1B visa program could give the economy. This gets us to our second force, America's skilled immigration system. It's this powerful engine for growth, but it's also, as you know, at the absolute center of a fiery national debate.
And our final number to set the stage, 8.6 million. That's the total number of border encounters during the previous administration. This massive figure is the backdrop for our third force, a potential political earthquake in immigration policy, a plan designed to completely remake the system as we know it.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll define the triple threat. Then we'll tackle each force one by one, the crazy new deepfakes, the immigration engine, and the big policy reversal. Then we'll look at what happens when these worlds collide. And finally, we'll ask the big question, what's next?
So what exactly is this triple threat? Well, think of it like three giant weather systems all converging on the same spot. You've got hyper-advanced AI fraud coming from one direction. You have a skilled immigration system that creates both opportunity and anxiety in the middle. And then you have a radical political plan to overhaul that entire system. Any one of these is a big deal, but put them together, you get a volatile, unpredictable new reality.
All right, let's dig into that first force, technology. And I want to be clear, we are not talking about the silly face swap apps you've probably played with. The technology behind digital fraud has taken an absolute quantum leap forward. It's more powerful and way more accessible than ever before.
So the secret sauce behind this new threat is something called an adversarial attack. The easiest way to think about it is like a digital invisibility cloak, but for AI detectors. A scammer can make these microscopic tweaks to a deepfake video, changes you and I could never, ever spot, that completely trick the very security systems designed to catch them.
So how does this actually work in practice? It sounds super technical, right? But it really just boils down to three simple steps. First, the scammer makes a regular deepfake. Second, they wrap it in what you could call digital camouflage, this invisible layer of noise that acts as a disguise. And that's the key, because this camouflage makes the deepfake look totally real to an AI detector, letting it sail right past security.
And the result of this? Well, this is the scary part. These new and improved deepfakes can bypass the best commercial security systems out there, the kind used by banks, by major corporations, with a terrifying 96% success rate. Let that sink in. It means our old lines of defense are now pretty much obsolete.
Okay, so we've got the tech threat. Now let's pivot to our second force. This one isn't about code and algorithms, it's about people and economics. We're talking about the complicated and, controversial reality of America's skilled worker immigration programs, that powerful engine that helps drive our economy.
And right at the heart of this is the H-1B visa program. Honestly, it's viewed through two completely opposite lenses. On one hand, it's seen as this vital economic tool that sparks innovation and creates jobs. On the other hand, it's accused of pushing down wages for American workers and even causing them to lose their jobs. The crazy thing is, both sides have the data to back up their claims.
So let's look at the tale of two tapes. On one side, supporters will point to that potential $158 billion boost to GDP. They'll show you how every single visa can create almost 2 U.S. jobs. But then you look at the other side of the coin. Critics have data showing wage suppression for some tech jobs, and they have documented real-world cases of American workers being laid off and replaced.
So the big question is, where are all these visas actually going? Well, have a look. It's basically a 50-50 split. About half of all H-1B visas go to major outsourcing firms. And that is a huge point of contention because it fuels the argument that the program is being used not just to find unique talent, but to cut labor costs.
And all that tension, all that debate, leads us directly into our third and final force, a revolutionary policy proposal for immigration. And let me be clear,
We are not talking about small tweaks. This is being called the most aggressive plan to shrink legal immigration in modern American history. It's a complete departure from the previous administration's approach.
You can really see that pendulum swing when you put the two approaches side by side. The Biden administration, you can see, focused on rebuilding refugee programs and opening up more legal pathways. The Project 2025 proposal, it calls for deploying the military to make arrests, slamming the door on refugees, and making deep, deep cuts to the H-1B visa program. I mean, they're not even in the same universe.
Okay, so we have unstoppable deepfakes, a deeply divisive immigration system, and a radical policy shakeup on the horizon. We've looked at them as separate things, but now we get to the heart of it. What happens when they stop being separate issues and actually slam into each other? This is where the storms merge and make each other even more dangerous.
And here's the result of that collision, plain and simple. Highly sophisticated AI is no longer just a tool for some random fraud. It's now being used to weaponize the very real economic anxiety people feel about their jobs and about immigration.
So what does this actually look like for you right now if you're looking for a job? Well, scammers are using deepfake video interviews. They're sending out these unsolicited messages about a perfect remote job that just fell into your lap. They'll ask for fees, for training or visas, often in crypto. They'll use weird channels like WhatsApp. This is where that big AI threat gets very personal and very, very dangerous.
And look, this isn't just about abstract policies. It has a real human cost. This quote, which is based on the testimonies of actual workers, just hits you right in the gut. It grounds this whole debate. It's not a number on a page. It's the raw feeling of being forced to train the very person who's about to take your job.
Now let's put some hard data to that feeling. This research from the Economic Policy Institute is pretty jarring. Between 2022 and 2023, the top H-1B sponsoring companies laid off 85,000 U.S. workers. In that exact same period, they hired 34,000 new workers on H-1B visas. You can see why this chart becomes Exhibit A in the argument that the program is being used for replacement.
So, we've seen the forces, we've seen the collision. Which brings us, of course, to the final critical question. What happens next? Where does this convergence of technology, economics, and politics actually leave us?
All right, so let's boil it all down. What are the key takeaways? First, AI fraud tech is now officially ahead of our defenses. Second, the skilled immigration system is a total paradox. It's an incredible economic engine and a source of massive social division at the same time. Third, a huge policy shift towards restriction is very much on the table. And finally, when you mix all that together, you create a whole new level of risk for the economy, for security, and for individuals.
And that leaves us with one final, sobering thought. We've mapped out the storm clouds, we've analyzed the currents, but the ultimate question is still hanging in the air. As these powerful forces of technology, economics, and politics continue to slam into each other, who is going to be the one caught in the middle of the storm?